This was another one of those movies that I was going to go and see at the cinema, but cinemas are still closed. So it came to streaming frustratingly later in the US than in the UK. You guys in the UK got to see it first. But welcome to my review of My Spy. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel at least twice a week, and then book to movie or movie reviews like this one here at the weekend. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any future content, and in the description box you will find links to all of my social media, including my Goodreads and my blog, so you can keep up with my reading and watching in between times. I also have some book to movie content coming out for you very soon, so hit that notification bell so that you don't miss that movie book to movie video, because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be an interesting one. Today I'm going to be talking about My Spy, which is a action comedy. I would say it's a family movie, but for the older end of the family, not the very little ones. And this one stars Dave Bautista as a sort of CIA special agent spy who goes to track a woman and her daughter. And it was trailered an awful lot in the cinemas around when Stuber came out, because obviously Dave Bautista is also in that. And the daughter of his Mark becomes a complication. So there are some funny moments in here. There are some sort of, family audience moments, but there is an awful lot of action and a little bit of language, which is why I'm saying it's a family movie, but for the older end of the family, just because there are some sort of more mature content moments in there. I would say that this film reminded me of the likes of The Pacifier, which stars Vin Diesel in a sort of similar kind of role, a little bit like Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and a little bit like The Game Plan with The Rock. And I really enjoyed all of those films, and I really enjoyed this film as well. I like when that film kind of bridges the gap between the family Disney style kids movie and a more mature style of movie. I like that gap bridging that goes on with all those movies that I talked about. So some of the humor in here is definitely aimed at the younger members of the audience, and I am fine with that because it makes for some nice easy watching for me. And during this time I've found that I haven't wanted to watch as many kind of serious issues based films. I need a little bit of a laugh. I did laugh out loud several times in this one, and the silly humor in there wasn't too much, and it was timed just right as well, so you never felt like, oh, we didn't need a bit of silly humor there, like that's taken away from the plot of the film, or we could have had some silly humor there. The humor was just in the right places, and there was a lot of physical humor with it being Dave Bautista. Obviously, he knows how to fall, and so we do get some moments. There's some ice skating, you can imagine. The film at the very start kind of won my heart straight away, because there's a quote from Notting Hill, and there's also a reference to Mickey Rourke's accent in Iron Man 2, and so I was like, you've won me over. There's not many people that like love Notting Hill and also love Iron Man out there watching this film as well, so I were like, yeah, I'm your audience right now. I will say that the younger actress in this film is sometimes a little bit pretentious. So if that is something that occasionally you find yourself getting annoyed with when you're watching a film, just a content warning for that. But on the whole, she has a lot of lines. She has some important pivotal moments, and she does that fairly well, but just on the pretentious side. We're not talking quite as pretentious as the movie of Matilda, not quite that far, but she can be pretentious sometimes. I will say, having seen the trailer many times in the cinema before they all closed, Kristen Schaal looks like she has a pretty big part in this, and I really do enjoy her in films. She always plays the same kind of character, which I think for her is a little bit of a shame. However, I generally like the characters that she plays. There's a couple of other people that just always play that kind of sort of mousy female sidekick that's the brunt of the jokes, but I will say she has a smaller part than what it's made out to be in the trailer. I thought she would be in it more, and I wouldn't say, I think they could have done more with her, and that's, you know, one criticism that I have. I feel like they could have just given her character a little bit more meat, and that's where the film strays from being a sort of having a bit more equality. The fact that one of the main characters is a young girl, and her mother is a key part in the film as well, and they're living very independently and they've seen a lot of the world. I like the fact that we have, you know, women doing things for themselves without a man in there as a key point in the film. But then Kristen Schaal's character kind of takes away from that, because she's very, like, not given a lot of responsibility and put down an awful lot. So I think they could have done a little bit more with her character, but she does get in on some of the comedy as well, and there is just a little bit of romance in this, but the kind of level of romance that you would expect in a family, like, Disney style movie. I think by saying that this reminded me of The Pacifier, The Game Plan, Kindergarten Cop to an extent, you kind of get where this movie's going, and that format has worked for a lot of audiences many times before, and so I can see why they've kind of done it again with this one. The idea of social media and cyberbullying is brought up briefly in this film as well, which I quite like, and the idea of, you know, what happens when we give kids phones is explored a little bit. Again, they probably could have done a little bit more with that, but this film wasn't too long, and I like the fact that this film wasn't too long. I watched it on a Friday afternoon. It was just easy watching. I laughed out loud. The violent parts were definitely, there was some strong violence in there, and there's a lot of violence at the very start and a lot of violence at the very end. And so if you are watching this with younger children, then go for it. As always, would I say spend your money if you were going to the cinema to watch this one? I probably wouldn't say that this is the one thing that you would need to be buying your cinema ticket for if you know, you were going once a week to the cinema. Probably wouldn't say that it's necessarily worth seeing it on the big screen. I can't say because I haven't seen it on the big screen, but it's definitely worth streaming at home. It came to Amazon Prime in the US a couple of weeks ago now, and it's been on Amazon Prime in the UK for a while. It just came there straight away. I think it was supposed to come out in the cinemas here in April or maybe May, but I don't mind watching it at home instead, and I enjoyed it. Definitely worth streaming, definitely worth that kind of family Friday night film. I enjoyed it, but just, yeah, take care for some language and quite a bit of violence, but get ready to laugh as well. So on the whole, I really enjoyed this one. As I say, I liked The Pacifier, The Game Plan, love Kindergarten Cop, have to say. Really, it's a favourite of mine. But yeah, so I enjoyed this one, and I would recommend streaming it for sure. So there you have it. As always, if there is a particular movie you would like me to stream and review here for you in the coming weeks, let me know in comments. If you've seen this one, do you agree with my opinions? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you disagree with what I said, give it a thumbs down. Make sure you are subscribed so that my future content, including that upcoming book versus movie video, lands in your subscription feed, and I will see you with my next video very soon. Thanks for watching.